Okay, look, let's talk about this Manifest Destiny 2.0 because there's a couple of things people are really pushing on this now. Obviously, Denmark has control. It's over Greenland. It's a territory of the Kingdom of Denmark. Fine, whatever. But Donald Trump seems to be really excited with how the media is hyping this all up in regards to him wanting to acquire the territory of Greenland. And as we have said before, Greenland has access to a lot of rare earths and rare minerals, and there is a U.S. military base there. And so Trump made an announcement to the press in regards to his actions of wanting to, I guess, expand America's territories, annexing Canada, which, again, I don't want to live in the Fallout timeline. I really don't, because that's when things started to really go ham. All right. And I don't really like that. But nonetheless, we have a couple people talking about it. And hey, bipartisanship across the aisle. Fetterman, Senator John Fetterman, decided to weigh in his 2 cents. So here we have Fetterman speaking about, you guessed it, Greenland.
Is this Tulsi Gabbard one of the nominees that you could vote for?
Well, I met with her. In fact, I think I've met with virtually all of them. And the ones that I haven't, they're on my schedule, RFK and Governor Noem. So I'm happy to meet with all of them. And that's also part of this. I don't know why that was controversial. I mean, I got a lot of blowback just, even to meet with them. And to me, I see that as just doing my job. And I'm going to have a conversation with anyone that would like to have a conversation with me. And if someone believed everything that's been written or said about me was true, I mean, you can't possibly know me, or I think I could know her either, just based on someone read. But I want to sit down and have a conversation, and I'm really glad that I've done that. And some of these nominees I'm going to vote for already. In fact, whether it's our colleague Rubio, Representative Stefanik, or even Sean Duffy, I expect to vote for him as well too, and Brooke Rollins for agriculture.
Now, this is, of course, the video of him acknowledging who he would want to help out for Trump putting appointments in. But now, folks, brace yourself for this one. The annexation of Greenland. Or is that wanting to get it?
There's a lot of talk about Greenland, for example. And I know there's a lot of freakouts, and of course I would never support taking it by force, but I do think it's.
He wouldn't, but he's still kind of on board for it. Hang on, wait till you hear his reasons why. And there were no consequences that came after it ever, period. Don't worry about it. Hey, how did we do Manifest Destiny? We went from the east to the west. What about the Native American tribes? A what? Yeah, there were Native American nations there. What happened to them? Did I ever tell you the story about how the SS kind of took notes about what we did to the Native American people? Where did you guys learn to do this horrible thing? We learned it from you. Brace yourself.
I do think it's a responsible conversation if they were open to acquiring it and, whether just buying it outright. I mean, if anyone think that's bonkers, it's like, well, remember the Louisiana Purchase? Oh, I think Alaska was a great deal too.
Yes, Louisiana Purchase. Bought that from France, right? Went further west. Then we had a thing called the U.S.-Mexico War. Then we went further west. What happened to the people? Hello? What happened to the people?
We're open to acquiring it and, whether just buying it outright. I mean, if anyone think that's bonkers, it's like, well, remember the Louisiana Purchase? Oh, I think Alaska was a great deal too. $50 million, I think it was. It was recorded. It was referred to as Seward's Folly, and now that was Alaska now. So I mean, open to having all kinds of conversations as well. And now I don't think it's not helpful to freak out, but some things might work out, some may not. But that's part of an ongoing dialogue. But he hasn't even take office in 2 weeks. And, we really need to pace ourselves if we're going to freak out over every last tweet or every last conversation.
The jackass said, get up, go see the White House counselor. Gotta hand it to him. He's a snappy dresser. Go see the White House counselor. Go. Get up and go. I just remembered. I just noticed it. Like, wait, yeah, he is wearing he's wearing a sweater. Hey, what do you do for a living? I'm a U.S. Senator. You dress like a bum. A bum.
Or press conference, because, but
That's good. That's a good one, John. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, we are here to work together.
Yeah.
And some things you can agree or disagree, but I think that's how DC works.
And you,
All right, and listen here, folks. Listen, folks. Trump also had a press conference because people seem to be humoring this idea. Now, to be clear here, I am not on board with this whole idea of expansion, imperialism, colonialism, because it never goes well. One of my favorite YouTube channels that I like to watch when I'm doing work or trying to calm down and, find my inner peace is the Fall of Civilization podcast. And I think it's a great YouTube channel. It's about the rise and falls of ancient empires throughout the world. And, they all have this same shocking, familiar story, rising up to great heights and then falling spectacularly. The story is tragically familiar. And dare I say it, we are on that pathway. Now, Canada, last I checked, is an ally to the United States. We have stood side by side in World War I and in World War II. We have had a long-standing economic trading relationship. And all in all, I would like to say that we've had very peaceful relations in regards to large superpowers sharing a massive border. I think things have been pretty well nice and calm between Canada and the USA. I mean, I don't know. But Trump decided to weigh in, and yes, we're going to return right back to Greenland because there seems to be this aggressive push for Manifest Destiny 2.0. But okay, hey, Trump, you weren't campaigning on this, but somehow you seem to be talking about it more and more.
Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line and you take a look at what that looks like. And it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. But here's the problem with Canada. So many friends up there. I love the Canadian people. They're great. But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it. We're spending hundreds of billions a year to take care of Canada.
Now, to be clear here, when I clip this video, I will be raising the volume. So if you can't hear it, I apologize. I have the volume all the way up. But when I clip this video, the volume will be increased more.
We lose in trade deficits. We're losing massive. We don't need their cars. They make 20% of our cars. We don't need that. I'd rather make them in Detroit. We don't need the cars. We don't need their lumber. We have massive fields of lumber. We don't need their lumber. We have to unrestrict them because stupid people put restrictions on, but I can do that with an executive order. We don't need anything they have. We don't need their dairy products. We have more than they have. We don't need anything. So why are we losing $200 billion a year and more to protect Canada? And I said that to, as I called him, Governor Trudeau. I said, listen, what would happen if we didn't subsidize you? If we didn't, because we give them a lot of money. We help them. As an example, we're buying icebreakers. And Canada wants to join us in the buying of icebreakers. I said, we don't really want to have a partner in the buying of icebreakers. We don't need a partner. But no right. Nope. No right. Here's what we have. We have a right not to help them with their financial difficulties because we owe $36 trillion too. We're going to start knocking it out pretty fast, but we're going to be able to do it because of energy and other.
Okay, so look. Last I checked, your campaign to help improve our economy. It's not going to improve our economy? Acquiring massive amounts of territory and the countless millions of people in Canada. And let's also count in, yes, let's be clear. Hold on, I want to make sure on this. Population of Greenland, okay? All right, because population in Greenland, 56,000 people. All right, there's 56,000 people in Greenland. And of course, there's Canada. Let's get this correct. 40.1 million. So that's going to be a lot of people and territory and infrastructure that we have to acquire and maintain. And that costs money. Okay. Maintaining an empire is going to cost money, and it could severely devastate our economy. I don't know how all of you feel about this, but that could lead us into the deeper red. Just throwing it out there.
Things, but no right. But why are we supporting?
Wake up, U.S. says, would Canada and Greenland lose their health care? People can Greenland. Do you want what we have? Think about it for a minute, okay? Then come back to me.
The country, 200 billion plus a year. Our military is at their disposal. All of these other things, they should be a state. That's why I told Trudeau when he came down, I said, what would happen if we didn't do it? He said Canada would dissolve. Canada wouldn't be able to function if we didn't take their 20% of our car market. You know, they send us hundreds of thousands of cars.
Massive BJ. Hey, how you doing, buddy? You don't think I'm not going to say your name? Huh? Dying empires always stretch themselves too thin towards the end. Yes, just look at the Romans. Look at the Mongol Empire. How'd that work for them?
They make a lot of money with that. They send us a lot of other things that we don't need. We don't need their cars, and we don't need the other products. We don't need their milk. We got a lot of milk. We got a lot of everything, and we don't need any of it. So I said to him, well, why are we doing it? He said, I don't really know. He was unable to answer the question, but I can answer it. We're doing it because of habit, and we're doing it because we like our neighbors, and we've been good neighbors, but we can't do it forever, and it's a tremendous amount of money. And why should we have a $200 billion deficit and add on to that many, many other things that we give them in terms of subsidy? And I said, that's okay to have.
Marvin Vargas, protect Canada from who? Evil Eskimos? Well, of course, evil Eskimos have always been a threat to freedom. But finally, we're going to stop them. But of course, then there's also Trump talking about action towards Greenland and also reacquiring control over the Panama Canal.
Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is? Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians to hold the vote? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you. You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this. We need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that you'll have to do something. Look, the Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China. And we gave the Panama Canal to Panama. We didn't give it to China.
So, yes, but last I checked, Panama, being a sovereign nation, can make its own decisions. I mean, look, I understand. Obviously, there's going to be people who say, well, we need it for economic control. That's fine. But the thing is, when you start saying military control, it should raise a red flag. And if you're a Trump supporter, you really need to start questioning, okay, now wait a minute, hold on, stop everything. Are we really going to go through with something this insane and this immature? Because this isn't anything Trump ran on. I want to pull this up here too, because we did talk about this on yesterday's show. U.S. President-elect Trump has also refused to rule retaking the Panama Canal. Trump refuses to rule out military takeover of Greenland. Look, there's 56,000 people in Greenland. Okay. What do you mean by military control? Is this just like you're just gonna knock on the governor's door and be like, all right, get out of here? Because if that happens, holy cow. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has said that he will not rule out military or economic steps to retake control of the Panama Canal or to acquire the Danish-controlled territory of Greenland. And as we have pointed out before, in Trump's first term, he tried to buy Greenland. And just so you all know, Franklin Delano Roosevelt also during his time when he was president also tried to purchase the Greenland territory. Asked during a press conference at Mar-a-Lago on Tuesday if he would assure the world that he would not use military or economic coercion in his efforts to acquire either one, Trump said he would not. No, I can't assure you on either of those two, but I can say this: we need them for economic security. Case in point, I guess controlling of the Atlantic and Arctic Ocean sea routes, rare minerals, and of course, is the Panama Canal, access to the Gulf of Mexico, which is now apparently going to be renamed under Trump the Gulf of America, and to the Pacific Ocean. Okay, here we go. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it, Trump says, but if they do, they should give it up because we need it. Can you imagine if, some global superpower said, yeah, that West Coast that you got there, USA, you need to give it up because we need it. Donald Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., arrived in Greenland on Tuesday on what he called a personal day trip, during which no meetings with government officials were planned. The younger Trump arrived in Greenland on a Trump-branded plane and told the crowd that his father says hello to everyone in Greenland. U.S.-based tech mogul and close ally to Trump and his permanent roommate, Elon Musk, also appears supportive of the plan, posting on X that he believes that the people of Greenland want to be part of America and they be most welcome. Oh, God. Fermilab, what did you do with that collider machine? Let us know. What did you do? What'd you do? Just if you need volunteers to do like a time travel adventure to fix your mistakes, just reach out to me. I'll give you some of my free time. I'll help out. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen reiterated on Tuesday that Greenland is not for sale and never will be. Greenland belongs to the Greenlanders. Greenland is the world's largest island and sits between the Atlantic and Arctic Oceans, is already home to a large U.S. military base, and is located on the shortest route from North America to Europe. The territory gained home rule from Denmark in 1979. That's also the same time, too, well in that decade in which Jimmy Carter handed over the Panama Canal to the people and country of Panama. So there you go. Just want to throw this out here, okay? But as it stands as well, the annexation of Canada and Greenland should not be dismissed because this is the first time in a long time we've had a president have plans for acquiring new territory. Now, of course, we all know from our history lessons of previous presidents, especially after the purchase of the Louisiana Purchase, as well as the territories acquired after the U.S.-Mexican War, that as the United States expanded westward, it was an expansionist policy to control more territory and establish ourselves as a national power. All nations have done that. All empires have done that. It is nothing new. We have seen this before. And the last time we've had a president really call for imperial expansion was one William McKinley. Spanish-American War that then led to the devastating military conflict in the Philippines, an ongoing conflict in which the Philippines were made a territory until after World War II. But folks, we haven't had these kind of talks, and none of this was brought up during the campaign in the 2024 presidential election cycle. These are things that should be at the bottom of our list. The priority is reestablishing our economy, ensuring that small businesses don't go bankrupt, that people have the right, the ability to own a home, that renters aren't kicked down the street. We reestablish our infrastructure, build proper systems in place to protect people from man-made disasters, or dare I say it, yes, even natural disasters, and ensuring that the American people finally have peace. You know, it's not going to give us peace. Acquiring all this land and territory, and then bringing in what, including the people of Greenland, 56,000, and the people of Canada, 41.1 million. I mean, they're going to be under us too. I mean, there's a whole thing here that no one's thinking out loud. And yet when you have people on social media, when you have politicians and pundits talking about this, one has to wonder, what's the overall end goal? And I think it's only apropos to really bring this up here, talking about Greenland, because even I am even taken off guard here just a little bit. We have our friends at Fox News. Fox News. Don't worry, it's only 23 seconds. Try not to vomit.
Canada. At first I wanted it, and I tried to divide it into 2 states.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized we'd be adding Montana, basically, for the Republicans, and electorally like a Texas for the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't
Last I checked, Texas is red.
like that. But the fact that they don't want us to take them over makes me want to invade. I want to quench my imperialist thirst.
And there you go. There you have it. An imperialist thirst. Careful with that thirst, because then you'll be consumed by it. We got to take care of our own people before we bring in more people, okay? Do I see a potential back and forth in which eventually, maybe potentially, Greenland is purchased by the USA? I could see that happening. But I don't like this little threat that's happening to our neighbors up north. I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me. And of course, Donald Trump went on to add in a little bit more here because, of course, Greenland is that target. It is the target for sale. It is the target that seems to be making Trump mad. So I just want to pull this up here as well because it's still an ongoing conversation. So let's pull this up here for all you viewers, and I'll give Donald Trump the final note on this. Trump, take it away.
Back on Greenland, your position is clear, but have you directed your staff to take specific actions to draw plans? And can you elaborate again? You didn't rule out military coercion.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world. I'm talking about protecting the free world. You look at, you don't even need binoculars. You look outside, you have China ships all over the place. You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen. We're not letting it happen. And if Denmark wants to get to a conclusion, but nobody knows if they even have any right, title, or interest. The people are going to probably vote for independence or to come into the United States. But if they did do that, then I would tariff Denmark at a very high level.
You asked your staff to draw plans for acquisition. I mean, are you actively?
No, we're not at that stage, but we have people. I haven't even entered office yet.
Secondly, sir, Elon Musk has drawn some criticism.
Now, of course, I think that this is a perfect note to end this on. This is on the front page of the New York Post. The Don Rowe Doctrine, Trump's vision for the hemisphere. Greenland, our land. Canada, 51st states. Panama Maga, Canal, and the Gulf of America. I don't know what's wrong with this timeline. It's very disappointing. It's heartbreaking. And yet Fetterman's willing to cross that aisle. Everyone's humoring this. And you know what I view this story as? And the thing is, Misty Winston said it best. And you know what? Let me go ahead and find that tweet real quick because my goodness, it is so apropos. Where is the Zago brothers when you need it? Where are the Zago brothers? Because the Zago brothers really did an outstanding piece of work. And I think it's due for a much needed review. It's a distraction from the next thing that's going to be screwed upon the American people. Anytime there's a new shiny object everyone is telling you to look at over here, you should probably be looking over there, from Comrade Misty. That's a quote from her. Zago brothers, keep doing the great work. Follow them on social media. And hey, folks, looks like we're in the Fallout timeline. Keep your heads on a swivel.
It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Whether or not in Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent an Israel.
I don't mean to sound alarmist, but most of what they let you read is garbage. Most of it's designed to warp our minds until subconsciously you find you'll take the time to lick their boots free of grime and wipe their minds free of tarnish. Oil is the centerpiece, a body count of millions is the garnish. So how's it feel to know we funded every carcass? That every year our taxes pay for carpet bombing Gaza under shroud of darkness? Or that we spend enough a year to house and feed each homeless person in the streets on turning families in apartment buildings in the Middle East to bloody craters full of charred garments? And And our media is silent at best. At worst, they can find it in themselves to call war crimes clashes and label children burned to ashes terrorists who played a stupid game and reaped the harvest. And every time we try to paint the truth, the news sends their slugs to suck off all the varnish and distort it into something harmless. See, the media will hang you by your feet and keep you half asleep. So yes, I'm here to set you free, but freedom won't be sweet because you'll fall 1,000 feet when I come cut you out your harness. They say those who dream the deepest fall the farthest. They also say that home is where the heart is. But if home for you is Gaza, Netanyahu's got you painted as a target. Perhaps it's not the impact, but it's what you see when falling that will hit the hardest. Maybe it's the sound of all those children crying out in those apartments that will hit the hardest. Maybe all those little bodies scattered in the dirt will hit the hardest. Maybe seeing human lives assigned such little worth will hit the hardest. Maybe it's the knowledge that you're paying for the darkest of atrocities committed on this earth that will hit the hardest. Maybe it's the knowledge that we give 10 million a day to oppressors who possess the kind of Medicare you'll die in debt before you see that's gonna hit the hardest. Maybe then you'll see you've always had more in common with the commoners whose slaughter we fund every day in Gaza than our senators and bosses. Maybe then you'll see our country never had a conscience. Maybe then the retroactive guilt will make you nauseous. Maybe what hits harder than the impact is the act of being conscious, of knowing your complicity and helplessness to try and stop the bloody deeds of Congress. And that no matter who's in office, America preserves its foreign interests by whatever means its greed demands, however monstrous. You see, we'll always need a place to drain our contras. And Biden's got a backup plan should harm befall the Holy Land. Wipe it off the map, he'll draw it back on with an iron hand. He demands an Israel or reasonable effigy to exercise democracy and colonize the Middle East. Regardless of the human cost of phosphorus atrocities, bought and paid with money they rerouted out the budget for the non-essential things like ever making Flint's water clean. So maybe what hits hardest is the day you see this country for its actual priorities. And never more no honest peace attempting sleep. Maybe then you'll look at politicians making speeches like a blood-encrusted beast espousing destiny to empty seats and fellow leeches. As the gauntlet of democracy extends its brutal reach, like a giant wave of trash come to crash on foreign beaches. Maybe build a base, throw a flag down and heavily pollute the region. Rape your ecosystems, gut your fauna and congratulate you on your new allegiance. Oops, we mean alliance. This is something mutual unless you're non-compliant. We stole something crucial on which you can be reliant. So maybe what hits hardest is the centrist saying both sides need to stop the violence. And those would be the very same centrists saying we should all accept police brutality, who hem and haw and clutch their fucking pearls and spend their time condemning riots. But very soon will come the day the centrists all get censored like the rest of us, and pious as they'll try to be, they won't stay quiet. But they'll just end up shouting in the void that they were also quick to render us subscribers. And it will be too late to light the fires. So far away tonight, they burn the spires of a region set ablaze for which you've paid for every pyre. Which is why your checks weren't all $600 higher. And call it foreign interests or American desires. This is why your checks weren't all $600 higher. Far away tonight, they burn the spires of a region set ablaze for which you've paid for every pyre. Call it foreign interests or American desires. This is why your checks weren't all $600